Alright. And then September 4th, 2004, I can't talk. Oh yeah, but yeah. Yeah, I just had a drive to not be like them. And she did too. I appreciate that. Anyway, September 4th, 2004. I can't talk to him. He overpowers me with his words in no time. I agree to this, like, beyond, like, everything. Like, I keep saying, like, but anyway, what I'm trying to say is, I have never felt so related to something in my whole life. Because when people, I experienced 4 people, specifically 3 of them. So my parents and a sibling would be like point blank in my face. Actually, all 4 of them. I take that back. All 4 of them would be in my face and just yelling their opinion at me. It wouldn't even be a disagreement. It would just be like, they would be disrespectful. And I'd be like, you're disrespectful, don't get in my face. And they would be yelling at me. And they would do stuff to like overpower me. And like, I'm also the youngest. So imagine people that are, you know, in their 40s, in their 30s, in their 20s. I've been getting done, like have this done to me for years. That people would just be like this, and they'll be like this close in your face, yelling at you. And it's like I would give attitude back, and I would be disrespectful back, cause especially my eldest sister, she would get in my face and be aggressive, and I would tell her like, if you don't get on my face, like I'm literally like, I wouldn't say it, but I would just stare back at her, and I'd be like, okay, all right, and she would be screaming like belligerent in my face for no apparent reason. Like sometimes she would just have a bad day at work, and she'd come to the house and she would just be screaming in my face. I remember another time, I don't know what happened, but something happened. My sister disagreed with me, another sister, and she was following me down the hallway, and I'm telling her like, you need to leave me alone, you need to stop bothering me, and stop trying to antagonize me, stop trying to get in my face, stop following me. I went in a closet, and I just was like fetal position in the closet like this, trying to get my peace back, because people are in my face yelling at me and following me inside of a house. And I'm like, I'm trying not to like hurt these people's feelings, you know? And sometimes when confrontation would happen, it's either I would be like, you know, giving attitude back, or I just wasn't capable of talking. And like when people are confrontational and they want to have an answer, but they can't deal with the answer, I would sometimes stutter, and sometimes it still happens to me. And I just get uncomfortable, and I've actually gotten better at this now, because it's just not, I just gotten better at it. I actually think working at cash registers helped me a lot, because people are very confrontational during when you like work customer service. But the overpowering your words and just the ability to not be able to like explain how you feel was a huge problem for me. And then June 27, 2004, this is again from her book, and it's when she was abducted at the time. It says, lonely and incomplete. I want to run, but I have no idea where to run to. I want to yell, but I don't want to hurt anybody. I want to say something, but I don't know what to say, excuse me. Love is the easy part. It's the living without love you need that is hard. Is life, okay, about this part, like when I read this book, it really, oh man, it's made me emotional. But when I read this book, I remember how much despair and how much loneliness I felt when I was a kid, and how absolutely low I was. And I gotta tell you, I was so lonely. I had obviously I had DID, so they were my only friends. They were only people I talked to. And then when I went to school, I still dealt with a lot of rejection, and I also socially just was not. I didn't. I didn't get to. I wasn't really able to socialize until I went to school. So you have to realize the only person I really dealt with was my dad, who abused me, and then I went to school when I was 6. So I didn't socialize. I didn't know how to talk to people. I didn't understand social cues. I didn't understand facial expressions. And my parents didn't make facial expressions. So I just struggled a lot. And I remember wanting to like run away from my house, but I remember that I knew that if I run away, that I would also probably be in a worse situation because I didn't know, like I already had been abused since I was like 3 or 4. Oh, I was 3, but I didn't. I was like, I can't fight them now. How am I gonna go to a place where people I haven't met and then also fight them too? I'm like, and then like our neighborhood had a whole bunch of like abandoned houses, which I know now were not abandoned. They were actually like crack houses. But yeah. Anyway, couldn't go to those. Didn't know that. So there wasn't really anywhere for me to go, and no one really wanted me. Nobody knew me. I had no real friends, and then the friends that I did have wouldn't be there that long, or they were friends, but they were people that were also temperamental, or they were users or takers. And then it says, I want to yell, but I don't want to hurt anyone, anybody. I related to that too, because yeah, I was frustrated, but I also didn't want to be evil to people. And then it says, I want to say something, but I don't know what to say. Again, I was in school. I didn't know that it was abuse. I just knew that I didn't like it. But I didn't know, like, what to say or how to say that. Because again, most of my conversation was mental. It wasn't, I didn't even talk that much. And I know, like, because I make these videos, it probably seems like I'm very sociable and I'm very, like, I think people see me as charismatic and outgoing, but I'm not. Like, I'm fairly quiet. I don't actually make facial expressions that much except when I'm on here or when I'm, like, around people that I generally like. But even with people I generally like, I don't make expressions with them, but they know my temperament. So I think for the most part they'd be like, oh, she's not happy. Oh, she's sad, but my face is like this the whole time. So anyway, it says love is the easy part, but it's living without the love you need that is hard. And I never heard anybody say that before. And I think it is very easy to love people, but it's very hard when they don't want you, when they don't accept you. You know, I had 2 biological parents. I lived with them for most of my life, and they never loved me. And I knew they didn't love me from an early age. And when I became like 16, it became hard to even call them my parents because I knew they didn't like me. I knew they didn't love me, and I knew that it wouldn't change. So I think that was very hard to accept and hard to grieve because, you know, they don't feel remorse, they don't care, and they don't have a willingness to change. So I thought that was so great when she said that, because I related to that completely. And then it says, is life worth living simply because you live, or is it worth more if you make life happen? What if you have no choice in the matter? Dang, I can't. I'm trying to flip the page. Anyway, in the matter. Maybe you have to make life happen, whether it is good or bad. You make choices in your life, and you have to live with the consequences of your choices. Did I have a choice that day? Could I have chosen to stay home from school? So, at this part, is life worth living simply because you live, or is it worth more if you make life happen? I personally think that life, for me, my life is worth living because I choose to live it for God. I don't choose to apply myself to the world. Are there circumstances where, yeah, you have to work, you have to, pay your bills, you have to do whatever, right? But I have an understanding that when I'm submitted to God, all of those things will happen for me. And if the circumstance is good or bad, I choose to see it as God bringing something to me or to other people through me. So, yeah. And it says, what if you have no choice in the matter? If you have make life happen, whether it's good or bad. Yeah, another thing is, I don't think people, like in this case, she didn't really have a choice. Like, I mean, she was a little kid, she was 11, and she was just walking to school. There's no, like, I don't know, I just feel like it happened, and if she stayed home, she would have got in trouble, because she was a little kid. I don't know, I just think that's, like, my main thought about it. I don't think she had a choice that day, but it's also not her fault she got kidnapped. She was 11. It definitely was their choice to do what they did, because they didn't have to do it, and they didn't have to do all the stuff that they were doing. And then, like, the fact that this man's house was searched multiple times while she was still living there, and they somehow got tipped off that their houses were going to be searched and moved almost, I think, 2 or 3 times. And one of those times was while she was pregnant. Like, it's astounding that and he was on parole. How did they not search his property? I just think it's amazing, like, all the stuff that, like, happened, like, and then the fact, I just love her personality in the book so much, because she has a sense of humor, and she just sounds like a person that would be has so much wisdom, and he corrupted God in her life, but I mean, my dad corrupted God in my life too, so did my mom, but I still found God and kept with them. So, but yeah, I just think it's so interesting. It's a great book. I also, when God suggested it to me, I didn't think I could handle a book, but I'm very happy that I read it, and I probably will buy it at some point to keep it and remind myself. And then there was another part where her purse gets stolen, and she felt she could never leave home again and couldn't believe anyone would take her belongings, and it felt like it's safe to not leave this place. That's how I felt as well. Like, anytime something bad would happen outside of my parents' house, I felt like the world was unsafe, and they also kept with the narrative that everything was unsafe and I was gonna get raped and die if I, like, basically left the house. Like, my mom made me afraid of public bathrooms, but at the same time, my dad made me afraid of the bathroom because he was abusing me. So, it's just crazy. Like, and the thing was, I wasn't even comfortable at home. And even she puts quotation marks on home. Like, it's crazy that they will like make an environment where you are uncomfortable and unsafe, but make it seem like everywhere else is unsafe and like they're the only option. And that's basically what they did. I mean, that's what it seems like from outside opinion and reading the book. But I thought it was so interesting that that's what they did to her, and that's what they did to me too. Even though they were my parents and those were kidnappers. But okay, and it says, I will not leave my life alone because I will not settle for anything less than true feelings. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I dealt with just like what last week, well, maybe, yeah, probably last month. I told you I was going to this church, and I've never met so many people who absolutely pretended like they cared about me and like they wanted the best for me, while at the same time absolutely not caring about me and like literally degrading me and talking to me and causing me to feel like I was less than and incompetent and incapable. And I don't have the tolerance anymore. Actually, I've never had the tolerance to deal with people that want to treat you like absolute trash and then slowly become kind to you. I don't have tolerance for that. I also don't have tolerance for fakeness or pretending like they're your friend, or like the mean girl mentality, or like the men competing with you. I don't have tolerance for any of those things. I will literally block you and then tell you how have a great day. Like, and that's not even to be rude. That's literally like I just don't want to deal with it because I've dealt with it for so long that pretending to hug me, pretending to care for me while doing witchcraft on me, all that stuff is done. I have no want for it. I'd rather be by myself. And then it says to blend in and not be noticed. So again, during that time, it's like they create an atmosphere where if you were like an outgoing person, I'm not saying that she was, I don't know if she was or is, but for me, I'm a person that I'm very silly and I like to laugh, I like to joke around, but it's like all of that was cut off when I was with my parents. I would still do it, and I would do it also at that time to annoy them, but now I do it, cause I actually enjoy it. But like when we would go in public, it's like I would hide behind my father, I would hide behind my siblings, I would hide behind other people, like my family, because I didn't want to be noticed, because I know if that other people noticed me, that my family would pinpoint that and somehow it would be my fault. So it's like they want me to dim myself so that they could be visible. And they also wanted me to just be there as like a fake symbol of our love for each other. And again, I wasn't gonna do that because I did not like any of these people. So I was like, I'm not gonna pretend that I love you guys in public, but I don't even show that in private. So yeah, I just stayed quiet. They were like, she's so quiet. No, I just don't want to talk to any of y'all. Because if I knew if they were friends with my parents, that either they were being manipulated by my parents, they completely had no discernment, or they were abusive. So why would I want to be around any of those people? I remember one time this lady was like, you're so close to your dad, your family seems so great. And my family was like far off, and I was like, no, we're not. I'm not close to them. She's like, really? And I was like, yeah, no, we're not close. And that was like a little moment of rebellion And I remember I was so happy. I think I was like 13 or 14, and I was so excited that like someone heard me say that I don't like them. And I think it's great, even now that I'm almost 30, and I can be like, yeah, I don't like those people, cause I tried so hard to like accept a lie, and I just couldn't. And it's not even that like that's not even rude to say. Like it's okay to not like them. It's okay not to like your family. I don't like mine. I don't want mine. Um, I would have appreciated if, I don't know, I was nurtured and cared for, but I just wasn't. And it's okay that that's what I got to. And I think that's what this book also helped me to realize, that it's okay to be honest, but also be honest but authentic and real. Because a lot of these situations, they live on delusion, and they want you to be a part of their delusions, and I didn't want to be a part of the delusions. Like, I'm not gonna accept a lie when I can see the truth. I just, even right now, it's getting me annoyed. Like, even at work, people want me to sit there and be like, not my current job, but like in past ones, they'd be like, Stephanie, do you enjoy this? No, I don't. I don't like it. And it's like, people try to make you be a liar, and I don't want to be a liar. Anyway. Alright, this is the last one, right? So, August 11th, 2003, her cat passed away. She had a lot of pets and a lot of animals during the time when she was captured. And it said, hearts become attached as easily as they become broken, and our minds are left shifting due to pieces which I fear take a lifetime to put back together to achieve any form of acceptance. And I just love that. I think that's so profound, and I think it's exactly true, verbatim, and I want to leave it at that. I hope you have the pleasure of reading her book, and I hope that if you guys have had fractured childhoods or fractured relationships, I pray that God helps you to just get back to who you're supposed to be and be able to live the dreams that you originally had before you had those fractured moments, and just know that everything's gonna be okay, and it's okay to be honest and authentic and real. God bless you. God keep you. In Jesus, I pray.